Well, what do we have here? 1986 Chevy k20, which is 4x4, 170,000 original kilometers. Just picked it up. Welcome back to Fabbin Adventures, guys. Today we're talking about the new project we got here and what we're going to be doing with it. And this episode is actually going to feature trying to quieten down the interior. You know, the old trucks back in the day, these 35 years old or whatever they are, they're pretty loud and rattly and tinny and whatnot. So I got some stuff off of Amazon and we're going to try and quieten it down. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you probably seen I had a project, Toyota FJ40, and for whatever reason I just lost interest in it. So I ended up selling off a ton of stuff, but I did keep the 1-ton axles, which are going to go in this bad boy. It's going to get lifted, probably put my 400 small block in it, a bunch of stuff. So there's a big old series coming up on this here truck. So as you can see, the old girl, she's in pretty good shape, pretty darn straight. I mean, it's got a few rust spots, and I just put some Pour 15 on here just to try and halt the rust until I can get to it. You know, there's actually not much to do to it. Pretty straight. It's got this one rust hole through the door, so I'm going to be doing some body work and whatnot. And yeah, it's a new project. I love square bodies, always had. This is probably going to be my 4th or 5th square body that I've had. And who doesn't love a square body? So let's get in the old truck, take her for a zip down the road, put a decibel meter in it, try it on some gravel roads, try it on some highway at highway speed, try it idling, and just see how loud it is and how quiet this new sound deadening stuff I have makes it. All right, guys, let's set down a baseline. We got a decibel app. Hopefully you can see it. And that's just dead quiet in here now before starting it. So let's fire it up. All right, so now that we got our baseline for idling and quiet, let's take our first spin. But man, the old square sure brings back memories. As soon as we jumped in it, actually as soon as we brought it home, I got it off the trailer and I was, you know, getting stuff ready or putting stuff away, the trailer and whatnot, and the wife jumps into this truck right away, fires it up and brings it into the shop, and she's all grins. So it's not just me that loves square bodies, she loves them too. And when I showed her this truck on Kijiji is where we seen it, and the shape it was in, and it was a little more money than we wanted to spend, she says, go get it. So, I mean, when the wife tells you to go get it, you go get it. Don't wait for her to change her mind. And she gets a whopping, I don't know, 13 miles to the gallon at best if you drive it real nice. But it's not about miles per gallon, it's about smiles per gallon. I welded a tailpipe on this backside. It was rotted off. What else did I do? That's pretty well it. It's she's in pretty darn good shape. Threw some timing into it, threw a little sea foam into her, did an oil change on it. But the way you see it is the way it is. Oh, the fuel gauge wasn't working. It ended up being a resistor in the back of the fuel gauge. Found me a resistor at electronics place in Calgary, put that in there, away she goes, because you can't get the original resistors no more. It's got a 350 4-barrel, all stock, turbo 400 tranny, semi-float 14 bolt in the back, and the Chevy 10 bolt front diff. 4 high, 4 low, the typical I mean, it is a bone stock 1986 Chevy 4x4 with 170,000 kilometers on it. All right, we're gonna take her down the gravel road here at 80 if we can. All right, we'll turn around up here. Gave us an average of 69.1 decibels. Now we'll hit the highway and see what she averages out. We'll take her on the highway, we'll reset the average. As soon as this car goes by, we'll reset it, then we'll get a good highway speed average of decibels, because right now it's recording at lower than highway speed. All right, reset it. All right, there we are at 110, 115 kilometers an hour. For my friends in the States, that's 70 miles an hour. Drives like a dream, straight as an arrow. Not a shimmy, not a shake. But there's new ball joints, new tie rods, and get the bearings in it, new drag link joints on it, everything. Now we're 75 miles an hour, 120 kilometers an hour. That thing drives awesome. That should be a good test. An average of 71 decibels. We'll roll this baby into the shop now and start putting that stuff in. Hopefully there's not a bunch of rust under this floor mat and whatnot. And I don't think there is, because I've been underneath the truck and there's no rust underneath there. Okay, so the stuff I decided on is this Siless stuff. Got it off Amazon, paid for it myself. This is not sponsored or nothing. I don't know how this stuff is gonna work out. Hopefully it's good. But what I wanted was not just sound deadening. I wanted a little bit of insulation, because I mean, that truck custom is pretty well bare bones. There was not a whole lot of insulation. Underneath the seat is all tin, behind the seat's all tin. There's no insulation, no padding, no nothing. So this stuff here is actually not just the butyl base under here. It actually has a little bit of foam. Not as much as I hoped. I thought it was going to be thicker, actually, but it's a 2-layer. This is their Siless Pro 2, I think, and it has a little, like a 5 mil layer of butyl, and then, or a 50 mil layer of butyl, and 150 mils of foam, or something like that. So it's got sound deadening, and the foam is a little insulation. It's supposed to not soak water in or anything like that. So we're gonna go with that. And I bought 2 boxes, each box about 200 bucks Canadian on Amazon. So it's gonna cost me, it should be less than 2 boxes to do the interior, but I wanted to have enough that I could put under the hood and whatnot a little bit, and maybe up on the ceiling, up on the roof. If I get a roof liner, then I'll have some insulation up in there behind that stuff too. So I don't know what else to say about it, but it's an experiment, and it's got to be better than it is right now. So let's have at it. Right, so basically the first thing we're going to do is pop this seat out. On our own. Not a bit of rust under there at all. Well, the old moment of truth here. We'll see what is underneath this mat, what kind of shape the floorboard is in. So far so good. It's a little wet underneath this side. Rubber mat coming out. Wow, the floors look amazing. When do you ever see a 36-year-old truck with floors like that? That side over there, on camera it looks like rust, but it's just mud and dirt and stuff. And if there is any rust on here, I'm just gonna coat it in Pour 15. I got a little jug of it, and then we'll let that cure, and then we'll put the matting on. But this looks amazing. Let's go clean up that other side and just see what it looks like underneath. So this here is just dirt, and it's wet. It's wet dirt for sure, but there is no rust underneath it. Unreal. I figured it was gonna look good under here from when I crawled under the truck and was looking at it before I bought it, and there was no rust on the floor pan. What an amazing shape this truck is in. Wow. Right, got her all cleaned out, vacuumed out, cleaned out. Zero rust on the passenger side. Zero rust anywhere. The only rust that's starting is right over there on the kick panel, just a little bit, and a tiny little bit of bubbling on the floor pan on the driver's side. There you can see just a little bit of bubbling here, and then just a little bit of bubbling down there, right in here in this corner, and a little bit of rust in the kick panel here. So I'm just gonna rough that up with some sandpaper. We're gonna put some Pour 15 on the spots where it's starting, so we can basically try and stop the rust. We'll let that cure. We'll wipe her down with acetone, and we'll start sticking that stuff on. All right, we got her all wiped out. We got the Pour 15 on all the key spots, and I ended up just Pour 15 the whole floorboard on the driver's side, just to help prevent possible further rust down the line. The rest of everything else looks good. I put Pour 15 over any little bare patch of metal I seen or any rust, which was very, very little. Awesome for a truck that's 36 years old. So we're gonna let this stuff dry and then put another coat on it. Once that's dry, then we'll start putting on the sound deadener. All right, the old Pour 15 is cured, and we're gonna start installing the Siless Pro 2 sound deadening insulating mat. All right, we got her all done, and now I got this just a seam sealing tape, and it's actually meant for just the butyl type backing sound deadener, but I'm gonna put this seam sealing tape especially on the floorboards, just so that no moisture can maybe get between these cracks and try and start some rust. I don't know if they recommend that or not, but I'm gonna do it. So let's have at her. All right, we got all the sound deadener on the floor and behind the cab, and I didn't do the doors yet, but I got to run to town, so we're going to check and see how quiet this bad boy is. All right, now that we got the sound deadening all in here, we're going to do our sound tests, our decibel tests, and we'll reset it. We're on the gravel road. Reset. Well, let's go. Let's see if it's any better. Where we turned around, looks like an average of 68.3. Reset our decibel meter, hit the highway. Same stretch of highway. Of about 69.8 looks like. To the ear it sounds quieter, and I think from what I've been seeing, I don't remember yesterday's numbers, but I think it's actually a little bit quieter even once we rate the decibel meters yesterday's, and once we compare the decibel meters yesterday's and today's numbers, I think today's are going to be quieter. The one thing I did notice is it's less boomy in here. You don't hear the metal panels booming and making noise. I don't know how to explain it, but that stuff seems to be gone. So I call it a success. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next video.